The deepest concern in any economic transition is jobs. This is true whether you're in the US, where the unemployment rate is 4.6%, or in South Africa, where it is as high as 32%. Few things are scarier than losing a job. It is not just the loss of income. It is a threat to our sense of identity and our family's future. The classic example is coal mining. Among fossil fuels, coal is the most polluting and least efficient. Hence, one of the first things countries have been transitioning away from. In the US state of West Virginia, coal mining jobs peaked at 127,000 in 1950 and have dwindled to 14,000 remaining jobs. Worldwide, around 8.4 million people work in coal. This is about 10% of the 76 million workers in the energy sector overall. Energy is an important sector in this transition, but jobs will also change across other sectors. For example, today 1.3 billion people work in agriculture. What will the overall impact be on jobs across the economy? An exhaustive study was just published on this topic. The overarching message from the report is that the transition will impact jobs differently across sectors and regions. Hence, it is useful to be specific when discussing job losses and gains. First, indeed, there will be job losses in the energy sector, but even more in manufacturing and agriculture as countries move away from primary materials and adopt sustainable farming practices and intensify production and reduce labor needs. Second, at the same time, there will be significant job gains. In agriculture and construction, many of these new jobs respond to investment adaptation. The models show there will be likely more new jobs gained than lost in all sectors except manufacturing. While there are a range of estimates, overall, this transition will create around 375 million net new jobs just in the next decade. But the most interesting number is not how many jobs are gained, but the churn. How many jobs will change? The percentage of job churn varies across sectors and will also vary across geographies and demographics. Overall, approximately 630 million jobs are expected to change in the transition. This is roughly 18% of the overall workforce. This makes investing in workforce development and reskilling critical to the transition. Let's go to Ashwini Hingne in India to see this in action.
I'm standing in an automotive factory in Mumbai that supplies car components to some of the largest vehicle manufacturers in India, Europe, and North America. In fact, 80% of car components in India are manufactured in small enterprises like this one. India's national government has set an ambitious target for 30% of all private cars that are sold to be electric by 2030. It is also investing to grow its electric vehicle manufacturing ecosystem. Studies indicate that 1 in 3 traditional automotive jobs will be affected. 14% of jobs could be at risk of becoming obsolete, while 17% will require significant reskilling. While some jobs will disappear, the EV transition will create new opportunities in the automotive workforce. But these jobs will require higher order skills, and most businesses are unprepared. Most workers require 3 to 5 days of informal, on-the-job training and hesitate to attend formal trainings as it costs a day's wage. For small businesses, the challenge is compounded. They need a skilled workforce to remain competitive, but operating on thin margins makes investing in reskilling risky. Current skilling programs are insufficient to meet the scale and urgency of the transition and often leave out reskilling of the workforce. So what does it take to make reskilling accessible, effective and scalable for workers and small businesses? We are learning that short, hands-on trainings delivered in regional languages are critical to ensure effective reskilling, for example, in the Chennai-Coimbatore industrial belt. We are also seeing that technical institutes like Indian Institute of Technology are offering courses in electric mobility, and sector skill councils such as the Automotive Skills Development Council are updating curricula to address skilling gaps. In the states of Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, industry associations, technical experts, supply chain partners and governments are collaborating to strengthen the skilling ecosystem and creating a pool of trained trainers. EV policies in these states go beyond technology and provide incentives for workforce preparation. What is most exciting is that the EV transition is opening up new opportunities for women to enter manufacturing, a space long dominated by men, especially in India. One such example is that of Pechi Amals, who moved from a housekeeping role to a skilled one, where she is now assembling magnets for electric vehicle motors. With businesses like this one investing in her training and supporting her at the workplace, she not only gains skills but also confidence and financial independence. Her story reflects how efforts to create inclusive spaces with training, safety, transport, flexible shifts and clear pathways for growth can increase women's participation. This is a small but significant start, but a lot needs to be done by governments and businesses. If done right, investing in skilling across value chains, particularly reskilling existing workforce, can strengthen livelihoods and expand opportunities for women and vulnerable communities. This is why Skills for Jobs is a story to watch in 2026.
That was Ashwini in Mumbai. As we saw in India, people need to be the center of this transition. Policies that accelerate this transition have too long focused on technology, infrastructure, and carbon. It needs to focus on people. The more successfully we center people, the faster we will implement the transition with more political support. Look at the Ruhr Valley region in Germany, where nearly 500,000 people worked in coal mining and steel production in 1955. But production dropped sharply over the following decades until the last 2 mines were closed in 2018. Today, the Ruhr Valley region has been transformed from manufacturing coal mining machinery to becoming one of the world's leading producers of wind turbines. The government's decentralized inclusive strategy helped support workers and kept the region thriving. So what should we watch for? Businesses need a highly skilled workforce to grow. Yet, LinkedIn data shows that the demand for sustainability-related skills is growing almost twice as fast as the supply of qualified workers. We need more efforts to address this. For example, Microsoft has successfully trained over 23 million people across 200 countries and territories through online courses. The private sector can show leadership in a workforce transition by partnering with governments, unions, and training providers to invest in reskilling. Will companies hardwire skills and training into corporate transition plans? Out of all the countries that submitted updated climate plans last year, only half explicitly named investment in people in their climate plans. And only 1% of them have concrete plans for financing workforce strategies. This is a critical gap to fill as early as possible. Just a 14% shortfall in the number of renewable energy workers needed by 2030 could lead to an additional 0.7 degrees Celsius of temperature rise. At the same time, governments must take deliberate action to ensure people who are low income and highly vulnerable have access to these new jobs. Today, the handling of workforce and skill challenges is often spread out across various ministries, from labor to education and finance to environment. At the same time, jobs are very place-based and require the coordination between local, state, and federal governments. Will governments at all scales start planning and investing more intentionally in workforce development? In 2025, AI has been all over the news for its potential impact on jobs. This is happening at the same time countries are transitioning to a new economy. AI presents both an enormous potential for climate and nature and a significant risk. We used AI to create a global data set of tree heights at 1 meter resolution, which has the potential to underpin transparent carbon markets and transform the restoration economy. Where else might AI have a groundbreaking impact? At the same time, experts anticipate broad productivity gains in the overall economy from AI, but also many potential job disruptions. However, jobs in construction and agriculture, sectors with the biggest gains in the low-carbon transition, are less likely to be impacted by AI. How will AI impact jobs for the new economy in 2026? Ultimately, the transition will only succeed if we put jobs and the skills people need for them at the center.